people before you became a student, you're unlikely to be enjoying working in teams after you graduate. And secondly, you need a desire to do it, and the recognition that you can't architects can't build buildings without other people. You can't do it yourself unless you're James, who can do it in the Global South. And even he needs people to build as well. So I think there needs to be a desire, and I think there needs to be almost a temperamental interest in doing it.
Can I just add to that? I think I would totally agree, because I think group work in uni is like a bad word, you know? It's like the thing you do at the start of a project when everyone's doing site analysis and nobody wants to do it and they all hate each other, and then as soon as you can, you split away and you do your own project. And actually, the hardest thing I think we did in uni, and the most successful and the best thing we ever did in uni, was stay working as a group. So we did our masters and just kept working together, even though it was quite difficult and we shouted at each other at some points. We just kept doing it, and it gave us far more successful results, because everyone's got good ideas, and then together you've got a lot more good ideas. So I'm still working with the person that I started group work in fifth year with, and for me that shows how valuable that is, actually.
Can I just ask something? Chris, you were talking about group work and how that's, or just generally practice, is such a collective activity, and education is a singular thing. How does that actually, though, translate into architectural education? Because I think you're saying obviously group work is seen as the dull part, and I used to think that when I was at university, but that's often because universities use group projects to get rid of the dull section of the course, and I think that certainly that was the case in my school. I'm getting some mixed looks there, but I think that there's a degree, but I think there's a degree to which the whole of the course should be a collaborative thing. I think the live project concept, schools working or having projects that are real and students engaging with those and actually facilitating, bringing people together. The architect is often the central person in any project, but they often work totally alone. And I think that they need to act more as a facilitator, bringing different people together. I think that starts at university, not something you learn when you get into practice.
The Peter Buchanan article, which was published in the AR last September, he proposed this idea of a foundation course shared across disciplines, really to get away from what he called the solitary genius of the architect. And I think what I found very inspiring in visiting your school today is seeing you're working alongside other disciplines. My architecture school, we were in a Georgian terrace building with each studio in a different room, so it was hard to see what other people were working on. But our diploma units, we were working on joint sites and had to find a way of doing a master plan together. So there are, I'm sure, lots of examples of design work being done together. But when I went to business school, I did a one-year full-time MBA program where we were deliberately put into groups of 5 people from different backgrounds to make it deliberately difficult. And we did a lot of group projects, and it was an incredible learning experience of how to work more effectively and efficiently with people that you don't get on with. And so I think there are very good ways of incorporating group work into education.
You don't need an educational organisation to work together in a group. You can do that yourself. You can set that up yourself. We had some great initiatives when I was at uni, which was, they were all out with the university curriculum, and they were one of the strongest gestures and learning moments that I had during my education. So there's nothing that stops you from doing that. I actually graduated with somebody else, which was very unheard of, but it won us awards, and it was a very joyful process. And I think Stuart and I spoke about this before. Working together really makes you a better designer, because you can reflect your ideas, you can bounce off your ideas, and they actually will become stronger because of it. So I would actually recommend doing it yourself.
Comment or question? Behind you.
There's been quite a lot of talk about the sort of solitary nature of architects, whether that's within education or sort of outside it. And I was kind of wondering whether that could be addressed in institutions, and how other universities, there seems to be a kind of a disconnect between creative education and maybe academic education, and how if there wasn't that disconnect, then potentially wider society would have a greater idea of what architects and creative people do, and then that might mean that, you know, less crap gets built because people know kind of what crap isn't and stuff like that. I'm just wondering whether any of you think that a kind of connection between art schools and universities, like a further connection between art schools and universities, is desirable or not.
Sorry.
Just an interesting point.